because you need to have, because everywhere I go, I'm just, I don't want to say I'm shocked, but I want to give you guys as much information as you really need, because believe it or not, every time I come out here and I give training, you guys get information. You've got information that is the minority of people within our association. So, I mean, there's what, 1,500 people, registered agents, and probably I've trained everybody at one point of time. But all this retraining and everything, it's probably less than 25. So the information that you get from me when you go into competition with those people who aren't trained with the information that I give you, you've got an advantage right from the beginning. I'm going to give you information, and when you present it to your client, you're going to say, well, why didn't agent A or B give me that information? Not my concern, but I was trained, and here's the information that I have for you, right? Because with MLS charts, Cloud CMA, Client Connect, all these different things are designed to make your job easier, but also to convince your prospective client to have the knowledge and ability, track record to sell their home. So that's what you need, right? So a lot of the information that we have through Paragon, I know some people, when I query them, you don't print out material ready, even though the client could ask them potential questions. For example, how many houses sold in this neighborhood last year? What were the prices, right? Some people have that information, some people don't have it. And I don't know, I can get that for you. Well, no, I want it right now. So you have it ready and prepared, but you don't have the necessary present. So giving you this information and showing you where to get it on the system and being prepared is going to give you that leg up whenever you do have to go in and do a presentation, knowing that there are other agents that are going to be presenting as well, right? So let's get rolling. So the first thing I'm going to go through here is your fields, because I think it's very important that we do this. And I'll show you why after we get it done. And then I'll go into the Cloud CMA. Why does that keep doing that? Oh, I'm still here. Okay. So, everybody, I want you to go onto Paragon and go to search. And then we're going to go to residential search. And I want you to look at my screen up here and compare your fields with my fields. And tell me if you have this. I think we already went over this, but I just want to make sure. General date.
I'm trying to catch.
Has everybody got general date on their screen?
No.
Who says no? Who says yes? Okay, good.
Are you at home?
You can get it.
So I think we went over this before, right?
Yeah.
Now, we have input date and firm date, right? So what's input date?
When was it put in?
Correct. What's firm date?
When it's sold.
Correct. So when you do a multi-status search, what are you using?
Oh, this is a problem, right? So general date, I can't state.
Yeah, but if you don't have the general date, what are you doing for a multi-status search? Input date?
I do it.
Yeah. Guess
Well, this
what?
thing could be a year old, and I'm looking for the last 12 months, so it won't come up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Input date is simply when it got put into the system. It does not search and find every single status for properties back week, month, year, 2 years, what have you. That's why you have to have that general date. That general date was actually supposed to be put into our system from the beginning, but it was overlooked because of all of the different things that were taking place at the time. But by the time we caught it, it's too late. So that's what I do, is that I show everybody. And I also posted this as an MLS message in the spring and explained this whole thing with an MLS message. So some people got it, most people didn't. Yeah, that's it. So when I send you an MLS message, I'm not doing it because I'm just, got nothing else to do. Because the information that's within that message is very important to Paragon. Don't send trivial information just for the fact of sending it. So take a moment, read it, verb it. Questions?
Must have done this for me when I was at Sun. I would
I think we did do it over there. You know what? I think we did. That's where we did it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the general date into our field. And here's how we're going to do it. So we go up to Customize at the top, and then we're going to go to Fields. And what I want you to do is in the top left-hand corner where you see Find, I want you to type in GEN. And once you do that, then general date should pop up on the left-hand side. Did you? Excellent. I'm going to show you. So all you have to do is a couple of things. You can double click on it. It'll jump it over. Or you can click on it once and then click Add. Same thing. Double click over, double click back, right? So you can add and remove fields to your form, whatever you want. You can customize it to be however you find it best to search. Yeah, so once it goes over, it always goes to the bottom. So what you can do is you can click your mouse, hold it, and drag it up to the other dates. Or what you can do is put a check mark on it and just move your up and move your down. Same thing, okay? Now, once you have it there, and I'll wait for everybody to get it there. Everybody got their general date by their firm date and input date? Almost? So once you have it there, you're going to click Apply. And your screen will refresh, and you will see general date. Now, here's the magic question.
Yes.
That led to your problem. So if I log off the system right now and log back in, is general date going to be there? How many people say yes?
Save search?
Okay, the answer is no. Even though you've applied it, what happens is that this system is designed so that if you're on duty or you're someplace where the client says, oh, can you actually do another search and add this field and let's see what comes up? So if you add that field in, the system's designed so that when you exit out, go back in again, it's not there because you don't want it. It's going to impede your further searches, right? So you have a main search, you have your fields, that's what you want. If you're adding something, you exit, come back in, gone. So what we have to do is we have to save this form so that the next time we log in, it's going to be there. So any field that you add from here forward, if you want to keep it there, you're going to have to save your form in order for it to be retained the next time you log in. So you go up to Save, and you have two options, Save Search and Save Search As. So we have to go to Save As because we actually want this window to pop up. I have to go into my other profile because you're going to see things in there that you don't actually see because of my permissions on the software here. So let me just catch up. Yep, just one sec. I'll catch right up here and I'll show you that. We're on this Wi-Fi here that's getting bogged down, I think. Yeah. Okay, so Save Search As, okay? So here's your first item. You have name the search. So right now it's default search. Actually, your search that you've opened up is called a residential. That's your default search.
Yeah.
Okay? So you don't want to call it residential. You want to call it something else. So call it residential default, residential 2, 3, 4, residential 1, default residential search. Doesn't matter what you call it. It's just that the original search that you have, if you call it residential, you can do that. You copy over that original search. Start up to you. But I always say that when you're creating another search format, always save it as a different name so you'll know it and find it very easily. So, name your search. Do that right now. Take out that box, type in what you want. The second one, save it with criteria value or without. So what's the difference between criteria with or without?
You have
But what's criteria?
to measure all the categories. All the categories you have just didn't put it there.
Yeah. Criteria are your actual field values.
Yeah.
But the criteria value, I should say, the criteria are your field headings. Your values are actually what you put into the field headings, right? So for example, you're, searching region, it's always Halifax. You want to save your form so that every time you open up Paragon, you're going to have Halifax sitting there. Then you're going to save it with the criteria value because you want to retain that information on your form. So if there are certain fields that you're filling out that you're always filling them out every single time you're doing a search, and you want to retain that information, then you're going to put in the status. Well, it doesn't make a difference with the status, but the region is always going to be Halifax, Dartmouth, or district, whatever it is that you're always searching on a consistent basis. You can save it with the criteria value, so when you go into that form again, that information is going to be retained, so you don't have to continuously put it back into the form. So if you save it without the criteria values, that means that your form is going to be blank every time you log into Paragon. It's going to be a clean sheet of paper, nothing in there. Okay, so you have two options. When you get down to the last one here, it says save this residential search or make this my default. That's what you want to do. Choose the second option. You want to make it your default. Because when you do that, that will be the form that comes up every time you log into Paragon. Okay? Now, you can create as many default forms as you want. Not restricted to just one. We're just saving one with the general form in it. But if you've got, let's say that you go to your search criteria, you got commercial, you have vacant land, you got multi-class, et cetera, right? Each of those forms have to have that general date added to it. So this, when we save it, is not cross-saving it to the other classes. You have to save those forms, individual classes, entire system. Because in commercial, you may be searching something differently than you would be for residential. Same with farm, same with vacant land. You may be searching different fields for that particular aspect of what you're looking for, right? So you'll set up your other forms, other classes, as you would desire, and then save it as default residential, default commercial, default whatever, right?
So suppose I have 5 different favorites. Well, residential one.
Yep.
How can I find them?
Easy, Bruce. Very good question. Right here, load search on the left-hand side. So when you click load search, it'll open up every single search that you've saved.
Steve, I just so you that.
Yep. No, it's seeing right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Online, you can't.
Oh,
Attach it to your. No, I'm just saying.
he can't hear. Yeah.
They can't hear.
Okay.
The question, so just so you.
Good point. I'll repeat it. Thanks. So the question is, how do I find searches after I've created them? So what you're going to do is that you're going to go up to the top left-hand corner and go to load search. And when you do, it'll actually load all of the searches you're able to open back up again. Okay. Now, any questions on that? That seemed pretty... So now when you're doing your multi-status searches, you're going to be using the general date. And you can even try it as, excuse me, as an example. Go in and do a search with input date and then go in and do a search with the general date and see what the difference is. You're going to find more listings under general date.
So somebody else can do.
Correct. That's why your client calls you up and says, why didn't you find this listing that I just found? Well, because the other thing is with the Client Connect website, if we can get into that a little bit later on, one of the common complaints that we find that we have is that when you meet somebody new, whether it's at an open house or at a function or what have you, and they give you an email address and a name, and they say, yeah, contact me and I'll chat about my house and the possibility of selling it. And we always run into those people who are computer savvy and can spin around any computer and get any sort of information that they want, right? So we have to be one up on them and make sure that we come to them with information that they may not have been able to find. And with the Client Connect, what we can do is we can actually set them up and enable them to search our entire database like we can through Paragon, except it's a public-facing website through Client Connect that you send them that gives them access to every single property in Nova Scotia. So you tell your client, why are you going to go anywhere else? All of the information that's on every other website in the province originates from Paragon, and I'm giving you access to my database. You have no reason to go anywhere else.
They always see your.
Yeah, they're always you. You're connected to them, and you know what they're doing because when you go into the Client Connect message center, you can tell where they've been, what they've searched, what they like. With Client Connect 2.0, it's just so much easier for your client because if they want to view a property, there's now a button there that says showing. So they click on the button, it gives them a date, a time, and a comment box that they can send to you automatically through your email in case they might be surfing at 1 o'clock in the morning and they can't sleep. And you wake up at 7, you get a message, oh, I love this property, let's see the property tomorrow at 6 or what have you. So you make the phone call and you call them at 8, everything's all set up, right? So all of this software is designed to kind of remove the time lag between emails, replies, phone calls, messages, telephone tag, right? Because we know that's just a pain in the butt with any business. So if you can remove a lot of that hassle for your client by making that connection faster and more direct, it makes your client a lot more happier with you because it shows that you're on the ball.
So are you saying set up?
They can't set it up. All they can do is they're submitting to you when I want to go see it, right? It's giving them the ability to set the time, the date, and any other further comments, right?
So they can see souls or fires.
Good question. It depends how you set up the search. So in other words, if you're doing a search with the criteria of sold and actives, then it's going to give them the ability to search those sold. But if you're only going to search properties that are active, it's only going to give them that ability to search active.
Keep quiet till you tell me all.
Yep. Okay. But as we go through this, you're going to set it up and you're going to set yourself up as a fictitious client. And you're going to set it up and look at it and get used to it and really be comfortable with the information that they're actually going to be receiving, right? And like I said, 25% of the population of the association has this information, the others don't. And you go to be interviewed by a client and you said, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you're going to have this, you're going to have that, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, holy moly, that's amazing. Why didn't the other person tell me? Hey, ask them, not me, right? We want to give you the advantage. Okay, so any other questions there before we move on to our Cloud CMA? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, so the question was that when we saved the form after it was created, what do we call it? You can call it anything you want. There's no specific name. Mm-hmm. Okay, can you explain that? Okay. 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 So let me take this microphone and we're going to go to the back. That's okay. And, okay.
So I was going up to customize fields.
Right.
And I would always type multiple addresses and it would come up. I would put it over.
Okay.
So I thought I'm going to pay attention and do that way you were doing it for everyone else in general.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's disappeared.
Okay.
I had it right to the saving part.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever I saved it as, it's disappeared. So I'm wondering, is it something up here, primary criteria?
No, is it in your list?
Never have this one?
No, that's your open house information. Go back to your primary search.
So it's not in here anywhere. I was putting it right under street name,
Mm-hmm.
and I do multiple. So it's like it's disappeared on me. So I thought, okay, well, have to do it manually every time I want to do
Okay,
that.
so you have two fields open here, so close that one. Okay. Now go up to customize and type it in and see if it's there.
Sorry, Pinky Pat.
That's all right. We're all learning.
See, it's not even a
Okay.
choice anymore.
Okay, so cancel that.
So,
And yeah, I don't even see it in there. Multi.
it's like I was following along with the general one to get it. However, I saved disappeared when I didn't see it refreshed. I was
Right.
expecting to see it.
Okay.
I haven't seen it since.
Okay. Go back up to customize. Fields. Class residential, fine. Click that primary there. Must be secondary, advanced. Go to advanced criteria. Okay, and type in multi there now. Nope, still not there. Okay, can we save this at the very end and I'll come back and we'll fix this? That's okay. Yeah, that's a good point and question. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so once we wrap this up, we'll come back and we'll solve that problem. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go to we'll strap this on real quick. Okay. Is anybody using Cloud CMA right now? One? Bruce? Okay. Yeah, you have to sign up for a free account. It's free of charge. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. If you don't know if you do or if you don't, go up to resources and then go down to Cloud CMA. If you look at your screen, like mine, if you see this screen, that means you do not have an account. Okay? Okay, now when you click on that link, does it show you 5 tabs? You see 5 tabs at the top, or do you see this? Yeah? Okay, so if you see 5 tabs, it means that you do have an account set up under the Cloud CMA. Okay? So, whoops. Sorry? Yeah, do you have an account? Okay, fill in your account there. Just put in your details, your brokerage, etc. You're going to come to a BRE number or BER number down there. Just ignore that box because it is irrelevant for us. Alrighty then. So there's a couple of ways that we can actually use the Cloud CMA. I don't know why they called it this, but let me just go in here. Whoops. Cloud CMA. Just waiting for this to catch up here when I click on the create a new CMA. Correct. Yeah, who asked that? Oh yeah, ignore that. That's just, it doesn't relate to our association. So right here they've got this definition of called the quick and dirty. I don't know why they called it that. I would have called it clean and quick, right? Because what it does is that if you're on duty and somebody calls you up, or even if you're at your office or get a phone call and somebody says, hi, how you doing there? I got your name from such and such, and you know, can you come out and do a CMA at my house? Yeah, sure. When do you want me to come out? Tonight at 7 o'clock because I'm leaving for 2 weeks. Can you do it? Because I want to get my house listed right away. Sure, no problem at all. Meanwhile, it's actually 5 to 5. You're going, oh my God, how am I going to put together a CMA in like minutes so I can go do this presentation and come off as being professional, right? And that's when you're going to use the Cloud CMA, because if you did the regular CMA through the Paragon program, well, it's going to take you time. And the average time for a CMA through the Paragon program is anywhere from 20 minutes to 45 to an hour for people to go through and get it all set up, printed off, binded, and shown in a nice presentation package. Whereas the Cloud CMA, I can do it in less than 5 minutes, and I can have it on my computer and go to that presentation and present it in a multimedia format that's already been pre-formatted for me to make me look highly professional and organized with all the information that it does provide, right? So that's what Cloud CMA is all about. Information, quick, professionally displayed. So, a couple of ways we can do it. I'm going to do it the quick and dirty way first, okay? So, we click on the CMA tab. So everybody go there right now, just so we can all follow along. Did you? Okay, do you have the tabs at the top? Home, CMA, Buyer's Tour. Okay, click on CMA.
Oh, you have to go create the CMA.
And then create CMA. Okay? So the first... It's just like I used to do training years ago. You know the Wardor Center there where the public library is? I used to have a business right above that for 10 years called Future Kids. And I used to train children and adults, and you know, you'd say, okay, now press any key. And they'd be sitting there going, which one's that? You just sit there for a couple of minutes, let them start sweating, right? Any one that you touch is going to be the one, right? Anyway. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to put in the name of the client. You can put first name and last name, just first name. Doesn't make any difference. We're just doing this as an example, okay? And then on the right-hand side, I want you to put in an address that you want to do a CMA on. And you're going to find out that when you begin to type in the name of that address, it's actually going to search the database of all listings or all properties in Nova Scotia because it is connected to the Property Online database, right?
So mine also comes up with like US addresses.
Yep, it's going to serve, nope. It just pulls everything from Bing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I know, I wish that we could, but yeah, unfortunately not. Okay, so you could put a photo in there if you wanted to. It's not necessary, but I mean, if you're good at using your computer, you could do a street view through Google, cut and paste, pop it in here, no problem at all. So the property type is going to be residential. Square footage, don't really need to worry about that, but I would suggest putting in your beds and your baths. Because by doing that, you're actually helping the program filter those properties from the database. Okay? If you have it. Yeah, if you have it. Yep. Then we have advanced info. Now again, what I'm doing here is for the quick and dirty. I don't have to do all these details when I'm going to show you how to do it the second way. This is the first way we're going to do it because we're actually going to ping the Paragon database, the 15-year database or whatever active properties or sold properties we want to grab from the system. And putting in as many details as properties is going to help us to be able to filter those properties for us, okay? So year built, lot size, dimensions, taxes, garage, all that sort of stuff. Again, you can enter that in if you want to, yes or no. If you don't, leave it out. When we go down the page, we're going to select automatically find listings near the subject property. Okay? And then we have an option, get at least 10, 20, 30, up to 50 listings. So let's just do 10 for the sake of this example. and only go back 1 year for off-market listings, okay? All the actives are going to be grabbed no matter what. If they've been there for a year or more, it's going to grab every active listing, right? So this method automatically brings back listings closest to the subject property. So all we have to do now is just click Fetch the Listings at the bottom. So it's going to take a moment because we're on Wi-Fi, probably a few moments, because it's going to ping the Paragon database, and it's going to search for every property around that subject property, right? So you can see how fast and further ahead we are from anybody who's doing the CMA in Paragon. Right now they're going subject property, blah, 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 right? It's all time consuming. Now, to set this up initially, you're going to have to put in a little bit of work, right? Because you have to put in your letter of introduction, your company profile, these type of things that you're going to have in there anyway that need to be part of the core template, right? So don't wait for the last moment to do a CMA through the cloud. Go in there, prepare, and get all of your pages that can be edited up to date with your current information.
Is there a way to...
Not to any great degree. Yeah. But you see, it doesn't make any difference because once we pull those properties, we can then further filter them. Okay? So right now, mine says I picked 35 Landsberg Road, just around the corner here. We've got 9 active, 11 expired, 13 sold, 4 withdrawn, right? So I can see my low, medium, average, and high price. It shows me a map of all the properties with all of the legend colors, right? And then on the left, as I scroll down, here are all my properties. So if I don't want that property to be in my CMA, all I have to do is take the check mark, remove it, and that property is not going to be in my CMA. Okay? If I want it in there, have to make sure there's a check mark. Now, details and adjustments right below the price on the right-hand side. When I click on that, it will open up and give me details of the properties with property overview and features. So if you want to make any adjustments to the property, let's say that you drove by and you notice that they're actually putting a new double detached garage on the back of the property, you can put in double detached garage, value $25,000, $30,000, right? So that you can make that some sort of an adjustment to the property with whatever increased value or decreased value of that particular property, okay? So once you've done that, then you just click Add, and it adjusts the price and adds that particular adjustment to the property. What's that?
She said, I think I'm a mom. Just a minute.
Oh, I thought you said, I think I'm going to be a mom. I was going to say,
No.
really?
Hell no.
Already got that down.
Believe me, that's enough.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the adjustments? That is the adjustment of that one property you're looking at.
Correct.
And you look at it and say, it's a new roof.
Yeah,
Put in a minus value?
correct.
Oh,
Yeah, if you're going to put a minus value, minus sign, number. A plus is not needed. You put the
Subject property.
well, that's what I'm trying to get my head around.
yeah, but you don't
Because
need.
If the place that you're looking at hasn't, and the place that you're at doesn't have, then
Always adjust variable, never adjust to subject.
Correct. Yep, correct.
because you don't know
So
what
this is going to say that it's sold 100,000,
Mm-hmm.
but it has a new roof, has an old roof.
Right.
So it had a new roof, but it's minus $5,000. Sold price comes at
Correct. Yep. So plus and minus is for your adjustments accordingly, right? Put in the number, it becomes automatic plus. Put a minus sign, automatically will
we can do
deduct.
multiple adjustments. We just-
Oh yeah, you just click Add. You can put as many in as you like.
I love it.
Okay?
Do you save at the end of that?
Nope, it's already saving as we're going. We're on the fly saving.
How do you get out?
Yeah, all you have to do is you just click on details and adjustments again. Closes it right back up, right? And all this is going to be saved to the cloud. So it doesn't matter where or whatever computer you access, it's going to be available on the cloud. So if your computer crashes and you can get on your client's computer through Paragon, guess what? All that information is sitting right there for you to grab a hold, right? Because it's not on your computer, which is a benefit, because if your computer crashes or what have you, oh my gosh, all my information is gone, I'm lost, I'm in trouble, right? It's on the cloud, you're safe.
What space do you have in the cloud? I
Unlimited.
Why is it? Is it because every once in a while I get a upsell?
It's not.
Well,
It's going to be free forever?
let me put it to you this way. It's not free. NSAR is actually paying for the service. It's included in your membership fees every month.
Exactly.
But I will show you that this, like anything else, is that they give you so much. It's like the internet. The internet is based on, I'll give you this for free, but if you want the gold over here, I'm going to charge you a monthly fee, right? There's a little carrot that's going to dangle in front of you as you use this program, and I'll show you as we go through. You're never going to need it, but if you want to pretty up your presentations, why not, right? It's all,
And fancy colors.
yeah. Yeah, I know, but they only gave us so much for the service that we're paying for, right? They say, here's how much we can afford per agent or per member.
You never need more. This is closing time. This is all you think.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because they've never seen it before, you're going to impress the hell out of them. It's only going to look boring to you after the 50th time. You're going to say, man, I wish I could make this look better. Don't have to. Because your agent, your members are looking at it for the very first time, right? Your clients. Yep.
Sometimes you scroll to the top, add this. Okay, I can just land your approach.
Yeah.
Out on 5.
Okay.
So I just had 7 active, 9 expired, 12 sold.
Right.
Just by land through
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to be going to do a presentation with a specific property, you need to put that 35 in there because it's going to display that property, right? It's going to actually add that property, the subject property, into your presentation,
Still
right?
Still 2. Just by, so that just shows support.
Yeah, you got to be specific, right? Because that's the only way that it's going to pull the properties from that perimeter or the radius because of that central point, okay? So I can also do this. Have a look at my screen. See on the left-hand side, I've got these multiple dots. That's just a grabber. So I can actually grab this and move it down my list, depending on how I want to present it to my client, right? If I want to start from the highest price to the lowest, or the lowest to the highest, or I want to start on the top of the street to the end of the street, I can do that, right? Yeah, right. So they're listed, see, they're in some kind of a strange order because right now it's expired, and then withdrawn, and then sold, and then active are on the bottom, right? So this one here, 47 Roy Archibald Drive, shows 0. So, and that one shows 0. So I don't even know why they're in there. So we just automatically take those 2 out of there. We don't want them. Oh, is it? It does? Okay. Good question. So it grabbed properties that are no longer active and showed them as active? When did they become sold? Or are they conditional pending?
Well, it's not pending concept actually expired for one every right. They start
Okay.
sign off
Mm-hmm.
and
What does it show in the paragraph?
Okay.
Maybe they would.
Do you have one of the excuse me? Do you have one of the MLS numbers there?
there's just a little drop down, like the house setting
Yeah.
is the same color as an act. I look at the board that shows color of dot.
Okay.
Which
Yeah, something that we need to fix. If you're able to, get that MLS number and mail it to me, email it to me. And the email you can send it to is right on the top of the homepage of Paragon, mls@nsar.ns.ca. Okay, thank you for that. Just have to wait for my listings to be grabbed here again because okay. So again at the top, I do have another option here when this loads up. I can put it in ascending or descending order without having to change those. So right here on the top, ascending, descending, status, organized by status, beds, baths, list date, sold date, all that. So I can do some other adjustments right here. More actions, select all, unselect all. Let's just see here. So for the sake of the example, I'm going to take a bunch of these out of here because I don't want all of these in here. Get rid of that because I want you to show. I want you to see the presentation. So I'm only going to pick up a few of these here.
First time I used it, I printed it.
How long did that take?
I think it was 110 pages.
Okay. My recommendation is don't print this.
Are you kidding me? This gives you a listing.
Yeah, I'm going to show you. Because here's the thing. Some agents will go in with a presentation package, nice printed, formatted, looks great, right? They finish the presentation, the client says, "Oh, that's so beautiful. Can I have it?" No, sorry, I don't leave it unless you become my client because I don't leave it for competition to pick through, right? So when you do go into your client's home and you have it on your computer and you show them this real nice professional slideshow, you go through each of the slides, they're going to say, "Oh, can I have that?" No, I'm sorry, it's on my computer and I can't email it to you or print it off,
Okay, this is so wicked, it's not even.
right?
Wait till you see the listing presentation on the computer.
Yeah, okay, now. Oh no, are you getting ahead of us?
Yeah.
That makes sense when you do it.
Okay, so once we've got the listings that we want, we say customize the report, okay? So we're grabbing those details, it's going to start formatting it and combining it. Now, here's the thing. Right down the middle it says these will be the pages on my report. So I got title page map, cover letter. To the right of cover letter you'll see edit. So when I click on edit, it's going to open up and it's going to allow me to edit that page so I can save it to my presentation. Okay? So again, because you're doing it in presentation format on the computer for your clients, yeah. Sorry? Did you get it? Yeah, it goes to a separate page. So again, when you're putting in information about the your introduction, your resume, and these type of things, do it briefly and do it in bullet points. Because when you're doing the presentation and they see it on the screen, they're not going to read the whole thing, and you're not going to read the whole thing to them. I've been in the business 15 years. I sold 72 properties. I listed this, blah, 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 blah. Let's move on, right? You're just doing as soon as you get the listing, then you can say, hey, let's rock and roll, okay? So if you do not want a page in your presentation, you'll notice that on the right-hand side, it does have a negative sign or a minus sign. by it, which when you click on it, it'll jump it over to the left. Anything on the left is not going to be used or printed, but if you click on the plus sign, the green plus sign, jumps over to the right, and that will be a part of your presentation. Okay, now, everybody watch my screen. I'm going to show you something here. See where it says Cloud CMA Power Pack on the left? And I see, oh, CMAs are for buyers too. So I move my mouse over there to click on it, and poof, look what happens. It's 74 designer covers, right? So that's your not free part. That is, I'm teasing you with the carrot, and you go to click on it, and guess what? If you want it, you're going to have to sign up for a monthly registration. Yeah. No, you probably won't have it. You have to use the program for like, I don't know how many uses before it'll actually pop up, right? Because they don't want you to see that when you first log in. They want you to use it, get comfortable with it, and then all of a sudden you really have been in, like I've used this program more times than I can count, right? So when you get up over 100, all of a sudden it's like, oh, look, it's something new, and you got to put your mouse on it. Guess what? If you want it, it's going to cost you. And I think it's probably, I'm guessing here, but I think it's like 13 bucks a month Canadian. So I mean, if you do a lot of CMAs, you want to make your presentations look a little more snazzy, add a little more features. I think the first month is free too. So I mean, you can go in there, yeah, see where it says get it free? Just the first month's free after you put in your credit card information. Your tab's at the top because it opens up into a separate window. So your tab for your presentation is actually in another window. You see where the tabs are here at the top of my screen? And I can go here to my edit page content, and I can click back here to my presentation. Get that? Okay. You're welcome. So once I have all those things formatted and they're in the actual program, then I don't have to do it again, right? I'm just going to go and find my listings, organize the listings, and now I'm just going to publish my report. So I click on Publish the Report. It's just going to take a few moments to take all the data and format it into the nice presentation. And so when it's ready, I've got some options. I can view it so that I can make sure that it all looks okay. I can present it, which I'll do in just 1 minute. I can email it if I want to send it off to somebody, and I can actually share it. Now, when you click on share, who actually can share it and where does it go? So these are PDF links to the actual presentation, okay? So in other words, if you don't want the person to have the documentation, or you don't want to actually send it through a PDF file through an email for it to get bogged down and get lost, you can actually send these links, and when they click on them, they'll go live to Cloud CMA through their client window, so to speak, for them to view it. Now, where's my phone? How many people are familiar with QuickScan? QuickScan, anybody? What's that? Yeah. So my client says, gee, that's pretty cool. We've known each other for a long time. Bruce, can you actually give that to me? Yeah, sure. Where's your QuickScan? So I get my QuickScan. It's on my phone. See how fast that was? So I can put that on my phone. I can put that on my iPad. I can put that on any device that allows me to actually scan that code. So now I've got that presentation on my phone. So now I can review through it after you've gone. Is that cool? You can come right up here if you want to. Yeah, that should work too. That should work. Did you get it? Yeah. Because some phones will stop and say, sure you want to download this with all the anti-virus stuff that's out there, right? So we close that off. My presentation's ready. So I'm at my client's house. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for the call. let's go through the presentation. So I click on present. "35 Landsberg Road." See, I can add the photo. I can add the photo to the actual presentation, which I recommend you do. Otherwise, it's just going to do a screenshot overhead. And here's your navigation at the bottom. You can just barely see it. It's grayed out. But I click next. Right, here's me, blah, 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 with my letter of introduction. Here's the map with all of my properties. Here I can go through all of the sold listings. Recent home sales can be the best indicators of what your home is worth. Right? So now I'm going through all the properties.
So where would adjustment?
So go back, so you present, email, or share where they mentioned.
Yep.
So view is kind of, I can run through it.
Right.
Present is something that I would in front of my clients.
Right.
But we talked about sharing maybe, if I wanted to, I could send them.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, if you want to.
So tell me again the difference between emailing and sharing.
Sharing is going to show them it through a website, where email is going to, what's that?
So they won't really be able to print it off. Whereas if I
They won't be
email
as inclined to do that if you get it through email.
Right. Whereas if I don't send it on
Right. I always recommend telling them that you'll send them the link, and the reason for that is because the link can be accessed by any computer, whereas the PDF file, if you download it somewhere, you got to get it off and get it sent somewhere else. Right? Yep. So you'll notice that we, like, okay, I don't know if anybody and everybody can see this, but on the bottom right-hand corner, you see how you have your navigation, down, left, right. This is your navigation through your pages, left and right, and up and down is navigating through the page that you have open currently. So if you're looking at your sold listings, you can go through your photographs, your property details, adjustments, all that stuff there, right? But if you don't want to, you don't have to show that. You just keep going through your presentation, right?
I was going to say that.
It is Shelley's house.
Is it?
Someone that used to live here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Aha!
What are the odds of that? Even not.
So active listings, prices of homes, blah, 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 right? I can go down. I can go down. So again, you can see how fast we put that together.
So where would the adjustment show if you were to?
When you're scrolling down your page.
Okay, so then it would give you the adjusted price of the bottom. So we all the pictures, say, okay, so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so then sold prices that come up in the sold property analysis, sold adjustment.
That's right. If you adjust them, then that's going to show accordingly. Yeah. Okay, now, that's how we do it with the quick and dirty way, is that if you don't want to go through Paragon, you can actually put in the property address, query how many months back you want to go for your specific criteria, pick how many properties that you want to pick, and just go through the process, and you'll have that presentation in your computer in less than 5 minutes, right? So it's very fast, very quick, very easy. Now, that's one way how to do the Cloud CMA. Now I'm going to show you actually another way how to do it. This way, you're going to be able to pick the comparable properties yourself. Okay? So instead of you getting the computer and the software to do it, you're now going to do it. So here's what we're going to do. We go to search. We're going to do it just like a regular CMA, right? Residential. Now, how many people do a CMA finding comparables by actually entering in data into your fields as opposed to using the map? You do both?
Depends upon what it is.
Yeah. I recommend using the map because it's going to ensure that you're grabbing all the properties and you'll be able to filter from there. right? Because we have this tendency to put in all our details, 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, blah, 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 right? And then trying to find those properties. I always recommend start with as few details as possible and then filter from there. So this is how I do it. I go to my map. It brings up my 35 Landsberg Road only because I saved that as my specific property that I want for my address search. Oh, didn't.
Residential search now.
Yep, that's right. So here's my neighborhood. Here's 35 Landsberg Road. So I'll go up to draw, polygon, and I simply grab the neighborhood right around that street. Okay? So when I'm finished, I click the X, closes the box, and I haven't done anything right now. All I've done is I just drew an outline around my perimeter. So what Paragon's going to do is it's going to search every single listing in the last 15 years that are in the perimeter of that line. So I've got my actives, my solds, my conditional, my expired, my canceled, my conditional pending. All of them are going to be in here, okay? So I found 2,356 listings. Don't want them. So I click on Add to Criteria. And I go down to my status. I want actives. I want sold. I want conditional. All right, general date for the last year. And look what happens. I've got 116 listings, right? I got to narrow that down. So I'm going to bring that to 220 to 240. Down to 19. I click on my map. And lo and behold, here are my 19 properties. They come up on my map, right? So now that I've got my comparables, I click on search because I want to pull those into my CMA window, my Cloud CMA. So I've done my search. I've found my properties. I'm going to select all on the top left so I can pick all of the listings. I don't have to. I can take some out or add some, whatever. It doesn't make any difference. Toggle stats right here. See, toggle stats on or off. It just shows that extra bit of information. I just turned it off. Yeah. So now that I have my listings that I want to pull into the Cloud CMA, I just go to Actions. Right at the bottom, Cloud CMA. Click on that. Opens up into Cloud CMA. But the great thing about it is that because it's not the quick and dirty, here are all my MLS numbers on the left-hand side. Right? So now all I have to do is put in my client name, put in my address. Whoops, not address, Steve. Landsberg. See, that's not terrible how the brain works. Landsberg Road, Bedford, Nova Scotia. Okay? Don't need square foot, beds, baths, nothing of that sort. Don't need anything down here. All I have to do is click fetch the listings. Yep. There's no houses on yours?
Yeah.
Where? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, what area did you
Same one I got. I was seeing. This one here, that's the same area I did before.
okay, add to criteria.
Yeah, that's what I did. Here. My room, bedroom.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to filter it this way. You want to start off by going your listing status first of all.
So you can't do it.
You can actually close those off here if you want.
Where I go? Sorry.
See, so go active, right? Your status, go active.
I put active.
Yep, just type A.
Okay. All active.
Yep. Yeah, see, it's not coming up with anything.
as the type.
Address number 13.
Detached.
Take that out.
Yeah, sorry.
Street name, take that out.
Road.
Oh, like you would just go search.
There, now they're coming up. Yeah, it depends on what you have in your fields. That's why if you start to see errors or mistakes, just go back to your... Okay, everybody with me so far? So we're right back where we started before, right? All we did was we went to Paragon, we pulled our comparables, we selected them, and we went Actions, Cloud CMA. Went right into the... Yeah. Yep. Like if you're in a real big hurry, if like let's say you go to let's say you sit down with a client and all of a sudden the conversation goes, well, what do you think my house is worth? Well, wow, that's a good question. Why don't we do a CMA right now? Right? Yeah, instead of you going through and filtering all those properties in Paragon and showing them your business, you just go to Cloud CMA, put in the address and see what Paragon's going to pull from the perimeter or the outskirts of that particular property and get them that way. Oh, yeah, go to Actions and then the very bottom, Cloud CMA. Are you in the list of properties that shows you all the properties? Nope, got to click on search. Yeah, once you find your properties, okay, click search, okay, and then go continue. And there's your actions there. So no matter what properties that you pick, you click on actions, and at the very bottom, you're going to click Cloud CMA.
So, I'm trying to get this, because give me all the detached, so I figure if I go in through here and put it here, and then hit up here, will that bring it up? Just the detached homes if I put in detached, so I don't get all the semis?
It should. Are you doing it through features or style?
It should be under type.
Yeah.
Yeah, type, you should be able to have townhouse, single family, or
Single, yeah. Right, this one would be single family, but I'd want detached.
just like you want the single
Style.
family so you don't get the condos, and so then if you go down to style it.
Because then you can go further down to features. And then your features, you can do 1 story, 1.5, 2 story, all that in there.
So now I just go to the resources now, and then it would bring up all this?
No, from here you got to go search. And you're not going to go to resources anymore because that's only to make sure that you did have the account in the first place. So once you have your properties, once you have them selected, then you're going to go actions, and at the bottom you're going to go to Cloud CMA. That'll pull them into the Cloud CMA.
I totally missed a step, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's very cool.
Oh,
Please select more listings. Oh, that way all the listings, so that's my way.
yeah.
So is everybody good with that? So you can see that you're probably going to wind up using that more often as opposed to the other CMA. Because it's very fast, very efficient, and gives it a professional look as well.
I love the fact that you have it on your computer and slide.
Mm-hmm.
That's so easy.
I mean, we're at that stage in life where you got to do these things in an electronic way, right? So that's very fast and effective and professional looking, right?
How hard would that to insert that in? You've already got a this presentation clients, and you want to pop this into the middle of that presentation for
PowerPoint.
not what you have.
Well, you could download it and you could insert it that way, right? But it's all PDF files, so you'd have to insert the PDF files into a PowerPoint presentation, and then just add your pages to the front and the back of it if that's what you want it to do,
Okay. Oh, okay. So you're saying.
right?
Yeah.
So just dump it right into a PowerPoint and then add it from there instead of creating it and then dumping it. Yeah. Yep. If you're doing the quick and dirty one,
No, just resume.
oh, that. Okay. Yep. You do. No. The two of them are two separate. There's no interconnecting. Yep.
So, for instance, I was curious about that too. So, if I do up my resume or my bullet points about me, will
Mm-hmm.
that automatically or go into every CMA I do?
Mm-hmm.
Once it's saved.
Yep. Because you're saving it to your template. Once it's done once, you don't have to do it again. Yeah. Exactly.
And sorry, one last point. This I see this. We used to do this. I can go in and pick what I want and what I don't.
Correct.
Not intelligent.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. What do you mean?
Well, it says like,
Oh, it just shows it in the format for iPads because of the way that the screens are formatted. So it's going to do it differently depending on the computer. So if you let them if you say iPad format, it will present it in that particular format. Yeah. Yeah. It's the carrot. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, automatically, because it's just going to automatically sense there's the way the software is written. I don't know how it does it, but I mean, when you're on a PC machine, right? It's Windows 7 or 8 or 10 or what have you. When you're on a Mac, it's iOS 10 or Mountain Lion or Snow Leopard or whatever, and the software connects to however they format it to know what you're actually using to give this presentation. Yeah.
this is fantastic.
It is. I mean, it just gives you that advantage when you go into competition with somebody and do presentations, right? You got to come off looking like a pro and knowing what you're doing. If somebody comes in with paper, they're going to say, save the planet. What are you printing all that stuff out for?
Right now, the other half. This is.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that there would post data schools, restaurants and stuff.
That's a good question. And I'm just trying to remember the conversation I had with Bonnie about that. Because I know in certain instances it does, depending on where it's grabbing the data. Because I know in the United States, it will grab that data.
So, my husband met with some or you showed me one that showed restaurants.
Oh yeah, I can show you where that is. I can get that anytime right on Paragon. So if I go back here to my map, right? And I want to know, I'm looking in Bedford.
So that's schools.
Yeah, so I go up here to my legend, or my little, see that icon looks like a little parking meter? Click there, and I go schools. So now it shows me where all the schools are on that map. If I want to know where I can get food, fast food, or my grocery store, or my house of worship, or the banks.
You should be able to add, correct? I only have
You can probably add it in there, but it's not going to be as easy as you think, right? Because you can actually, I mean, you can put the schools in there, right? Because you can filter that in your field forms for schools, right? Because if I'm right here, if I look at my field forms here, I can put in my schools right here.
But, right, so the agent would have had to have inputted that.
Yeah.
Whereas the map is already there, will show.
Correct. Because you can print off the map, but it's not going to show you the details that you want. It's not going to say schools, fast food, banks, churches, right? It's not going to, I wish it would. Wow, I mean, that would be just like cream cheese, icing on the cake if it could. So, but that could be coming. I don't know. I mean, there's so many things that constantly change and updated, and there's things that we're looking at now to make, you know, it much easier and better for you to be able to not have as much competition.
So on active listing,
Mm-hmm.
because like, I don't.
I have to look at it. I'm going to put this right here so I don't knock it over. And
Yeah, so I have a general date, right? Because like.
okay, because right now you're still using your mapping,
Yes,
right?
Yep.
So go back to your map.
but I want my map, yeah.
I want to just see your map. Okay, so that shows one active listing.
Yeah, and I mean, like, this is Portland Estates, right? Now, I do have a price.
Yeah, take that out completely. I want to see how many are in there. Okay, 7. 11. So go back to your map. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 are in there now.
Yeah, so just 4 actives, and I mean, good God, we've got Portland Estates.
Where is that?
Portland Estates.
Price. We took
Yeah,
Oh,
we
no,
took
no,
all the
I took
prices
it- I
out.
took it all out.
What did you put in for your general date?
Well, my general date, like, if I'm talking to one of my clients who I'm communicating with on a bi-weekly basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is great. I could say there's been 4 new listings
Mhm.
this month, but when I'm sitting down with somebody
Mm-hmm.
and I want to
Just
do
add
my
criteria.
and I want to do my market analysis, right? You know, I would pick my firm dates for my sales, and I would try the last 3 months, and I would go 6 if I didn't have stuff.
Yeah. Take out your date for.
Well, that's going to give a crap ton of stuff at that point, because now there's no filter in there whether it's active, right? So
Just put in
what's
active,
that guy?
and let's see what comes up. 57.
Right?
Okay.
So that number.
Yeah, because you had a timeline in there that was only October 13th.
Yeah, but
Again, you're not going to.
Listed after October 13th.
Yeah, that's right.
I guess that's what I'm.
You're saying listed from October 13th.
Yeah, like if I'm sitting there, like this is fine. What I send to my people is I send them, this is what's sold in the last 2 weeks. This is what's, you know, currently come to the market. This is your overall competition,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was hoping that I could omit that report because it's still nice for them to see that technically they have 57 houses. Now,
Mhm.
mind you, I would be more like this, you know, 225 to 275, and I'd say these are your competition,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, this general date is lovely. If I could go back and say, and only one new house, well, hold on, let's see what this is actually. Yeah, only one new house came to market.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's with nothing in there. So it's just that whole like caption. So general date
Mm-hmm.
is still input date. It is still input. Input and anything that's changed is what
Yeah.
general
But when
stands
you're
for.
saying general date, beginning from this date, you're
Yeah.
saying whatever has been entered into the system since the 13th of October. You're putting a timeline on it. You just want to find all active listings.
And I want that in my presentation too, to say
Yeah,
you're
so you're not going to put a date because you want all active listings.
But what about solds? Then you're going to get solds that are
No,
just as
because then you're
old.
going to use your firm date.
Okay, so I can use 2 dates is what you're telling me.
Yep.
Okay, I'm used to the
Because
dates
firm is
going
only
up.
going to find sold, and general, I mean, it should find it under general active, just actually,
Usually if you have something, so like, let's just say I'm gonna go back, oh, not 1 year. 1, 2, 3, right?
mm-hmm,
So now I'm saying that there's 6 that have sold, right? Now if I add this general date, go back 1 year, that should, that takes away something, and I don't know why.
okay, put your listing status actually in there.
Um, and then if I do this, it should cause a conflict in Zoom. Okay. Usually it ends up zeroing me out, right? Like if I do conflicting things there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just showing you sold and there's no active. So
Yeah.
go back again and take out your firm date. And just take it out entirely.
oh, I thought I did that.
Okay, so now you got 35.
Active and sold, but that's still within a year. So let's just say there could be an act that's actually over. I can't imagine why some listing lasts that long, but anyway, people do. So it does do that, which is great. It does.
You're just gonna have to massage that for what you want to use it for.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
you
right.
use it, you're using this for something different than.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can make it do this other thing, right? Like I want it to be when I sit down and chat with them, I'm going to customize that. My listing presentations totally have been go to there because it's wicked. But these reports, right? Because right now what I'm doing is I have the area sectioned off, and then I do, and that's one thing that I haven't been able to get was these expired. So this is what people aren't willing to pay, right? But what I would like would be, yeah, so I say this is what has come to the market in the last 7 months. This is what sold in the last, 14 months. And then I come back and I say, and this is all of the properties that you're against, right?
Now,
And
here's another thing I can give you to kind of get around that. Because if you look at your date of list date,
oh, I suppose, yeah.
if you click on that, it's going to put it in
Sugar, yeah.
chronological order, so you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about trying to filter and find.
That's right. So then we
Right?
can just go ahead and select the ones that
Show and meet the criteria that you're trying to pull from the database.
No. That's still not 100%. I need to know when. Oh, okay. So you're saying I could go further.
Yeah, because what you're trying to do is say you're showing timelines, right? What happened here, what happened here, what happened the last week. So what I'm saying is you pull all the information from the database, you click on your date, gives it to you in chronological order, and then you can associate that with whatever date you want.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just
Right?
going to have to play with it a
When
bit,
you
yeah.
download them into your CMA, you just click
Take
on
the ones that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number of ways you can do that.
Yeah,
right?
because I just like, I really did like what that is, because like right now, the way that it goes is just like an email, and I have a template for my assistant. She
Yep.
goes through, and she's like, you know, she has this part, and then she knows I need to go in, and I need to get this to this, right? And then she takes that link, if you were to email it, she copies it, and puts it into the email template, right?
Right.
And she does it the whole way through, and so then what ends up happening is when she sends it to them, they can click the links,
Right.
and then it brings them right to, you know, that same Client Connect page, if you will, that has all your MLS things down the side, and then they can go in and they can look at each thing, right? And so that's what I've been doing, but I like this because then it would just come to them as a PDF attachment, and they could look at it and be like, oh,
Yeah.
How long are you here for today?
and I like the expired.
I can be here till,
Midnight?
what time is it? 10 to 3?
No, just,
Four.
you mentioned
Yep.
Client Connect.
Yeah, we're going to go through that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, you don't?
Okay, everybody ready? Sorry to have an interruption there.
Somehow my multiple addresses came back,
Okay.
so if
Did you log out and in?
I went right out, turned the computer
Yeah,
off.
okay, that's why.
So it might have just been my computer, which is weird. So it's just about.
Down. Whoops, there it is, right in the middle.
That's where I want it.
Okay.
Now I want to apply.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I got to last time. I'm going to save the search as.
Yep.
Now what am I putting in here?
2. Click on the end 2. Right here.
Sorry, this one?
Yep. Put 2 in there. Because yep. Without. Make it residential. Yep. Save. You're done.
And it'll be there all the
Yep.
time.
It will be.
All I needed. I have no idea what happened, but when it came
It's
back, I
back.
went,
That's what I figured.
I have to run.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's pretty fast, because I redid it while you guys were doing all that in 2 minutes. I got it.
Yeah, it's fast, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it's amazing.
So I want to show you a couple of new things that actually have been enabled in Paragon that you may not be aware of right now. How many of you actually put in your own listings?
Well, I put
Okay, so you're going to probably like this even better. So right now, excuse me, right now, actually let me bring up a form so you can actually see what I'm talking about here. It makes more sense. Boop. Come on. Okay. Actions. Okay, so have a look at my screen on the wall there. So everybody probably knows that right now if you're putting a listing online, there actually is a link for a virtual tour, right? So that you can click on the tour and it just takes you through the photos and blah, 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 blah. Okay? Now, when we go down to...
So is what you're saying, just to clarify?
Yep.
So the photos, when they get put in, like, they put them in here for some of us.
Yeah.
If I say, hey, click the virtual tour link, and bang, it will, like, little.
Yeah, however you have it set up, right? Some companies actually will do a virtual tour for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
photos in
Yeah, you can.
any of
Yeah.
So she wants to know if this take photos and take for us.
Yeah, because all you gotta do is just throw it in something else.
If you want to send it to a client, you can do that. Yep, you can do a photo tour of the property and send it directly to your client. It's underneath your actions. Actions. Slideshow. See right here, listing slideshow.
Okay.
So if you want to send 1, 2, 4, 8, 10 properties, select them, click that, brings up your email, you send it off, and they will see the slideshow with the property photos.
Okay, so, but you can't do it so on the list.
But, we do have a way around that because, see right here, virtual tour link, URL, which means that you're going to be able to put in that link to the virtual tour, which is a link on a website. But here's the new thing, alternate feature and property brochure, which means you can actually direct them to another website specific to that property. So some people actually do a walking tour of the property. They'll walk the property, they'll go through the house, hey, look at that, hey, look at that, check this out, right? Some people are getting into that to show more of the property. Well, you can now put those links in here, but they have to specifically go to that property. They can't go to any other website, because if they do...
So as an agent, if agent is doing a virtual tour or walk, or that'll, someone on a public site can on that and they can access.
Yep. So it just gives you more ability to show off that property, right? Because a lot of the things were like, you know, I got so much more I want to show this property, but you're not giving me the ability or the avenue to show it, to give it, right? So we say, okay, now you have that, right? So now, how many people have seen this on the home page? On the right-hand side, see this, it says Message Center and it says Bulletin Board. How many people saw that? How many people, did you click on it?
It's not there. I assume the message. What, the bulletin board? No.
Don't get this mixed up. When I show you, when you log into Paragon, you see a message popping up from me.
Yeah.
That's MLS message.
Oh.
This is the bulletin board, which was just enabled the first of this week. So if you click,
It's top left.
okay, yeah. So when you click on it, lo and behold, look what pops up.
Check out.
Oh, so this is our old when we used to, back in the day, have our bulletin board.
Yeah. Now, there were two sections of that. There was the wants and needs, right? Remember that? Remember the wants and
Yeah,
needs?
yeah.
I got lock boxes. Here's a great painter. You can't do that here. This is specifically for property info. If you have,
People used to change, remember, people would change the border type, and they'd say, commission has changed. Or
yeah.
price
So now you can
reduction.
put it here because when you click on that message, it'll actually give you the ability to add a new post. And then when you do, it's actually going to give you a timeline, whereas the other bulletin board, there were no timelines. It got dumped in there, and then we had to audit it and clear it out and refresh. For everybody to see,
Yeah, add new post.
add new post.
So you could say, looking for a lockbox.
No, you can't, because there's strict rules to actually what information you can put in here. We don't want that information in there. We only want it to be property specific.
You could do it.
Yeah, to get deleted, right? There is
It's
a
just for properties then. It's
only property
where do you
information.
get the rules?
Where do you get the rules?
Yeah.
I asked Bonnie to actually post those.
Obviously, this agent posted the commission, but like, so. for-
Well, no, that was Dale Cameron.
Oh, they're changing the pool too. It's saying if you want it or.
Yeah, but it was never really announced. Like, we haven't made any formal announcement about
Oh,
this
yeah.
yet. We just introduced it. So what I'll do is I'll probably post a message next week saying, introducing the bulletin board. Here's what it's used for. Here are the guidelines. Please abide by them, right?
So we'll be allowed to do stuff like that?
Oh, you can do it right now if you want.
Yeah.
I think you can. Like, I'm not sure. Do you guys have that on yours right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had exclusive.
Nope, can't do it. Exclusive is not MLS.
So you do, now the only thing is, trash, I don't have the trash or.
If they were, then it would be MLS, wouldn't it?
Oh, you have choices.
No, look, that's
Exclusive
three
inside the brokerage, or you have exclusive operating with other brokers.
Yeah, but if it's not going to be MLS, it can't be, it has to still be exclusive, which will hide it from the MLS system, because this is for all MLS properties, not exclusive listings, right? Sorry, what was your question?
I was gonna say, you've got Paragon. That's just.
Yeah, that's because I have the administrative features on mine. But just to let you know, again, this hasn't been announced. This is just new. All these things are just happening so fast at the association. And that is that we're actually going to be hiring an extra person in the MLS department. There's going to be a compliance officer. And their job is just to go through and audit listings and make sure that listings are getting put into the program properly. Because we still see errors, we still see mistakes. And when that happens, it's causing problems with our database. And we don't have the manpower. I am so busy training and putting courses together, and Bonnie and Carla are so busy that we had to hire somebody to actually make sure that we have the integrity of our database. It's not, I don't want to call them the police. That's not a good term. It's a person who just makes sure that the integrity of the information going in is correct, right?
Quality person.
Yeah, exactly.
Quality control.
Yeah, exactly,
So that
right?
people, whether they're breaking the rules deliberately or accidentally, they can be hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not going to get slapped. You're going to get a message that says, this is what happened. Please refrain from doing that. But if you continue to do it, then, you know, the messages will get more severe until we have to fine you. But we don't fine you, right? You get fined through the commission.
But
Right.
if you have someone policing it at NSAR, then.
Yeah. But again, it's not policing. It's somebody just to make sure that the integrity of the information and the program is used as it was designed. So for example, somebody starts putting lock boxes and stuff in here. Bruce. Yeah, we're going to watch for you now.
He's ignored, he's not listening to us.
Talking about Jen. I think he's totally ignored.
Age does that to you. We heard everything. We heard everything. The secret's out.
Saying, this is all. So, do it for me. No, actually, the Cloud CMA, I've been.
Yeah, it's perfect.
That is most awesome. Never.
Yeah. And there's lots more stuff too coming with all that. So is everybody familiar with all the new open house features within Paragon? Okay, so why didn't you guys read my MLS message?
Sometimes your messages are like my husband. I'm like, I kinda,
Oh, here we go again.
Okay, pretend I'm the boyfriend, not the husband. Oh my God, it's a message from Steve. I gotta read this.
I'll definitely won't read.
So let me rephrase this and go back a bit. So right now we've got this new open house feature that used to work originally when we had Paragon, but it stopped working, so I had to take it off. Got it working, reintroduced it. So what we used to do is that in the listings, whenever we added a listing, let me go to the listings here. You used to go down here and used to see open house entry. See that right here at the bottom?
Yeah.
That doesn't work anymore.
Oh, yes, I know.
Doesn't work anymore. We disabled that.
That's why no one showed up at my open house last week.
Yeah, but Bruce, watch this. So now on the left-hand side, see where it says open house right here?
Yeah.
You click there, and then you add a new open house, and now here's the great feature is that you can now add comments,
Oh, yeah, I did.
right? That's where you're going to now add the open house. You can add multiple dates. So if you're working at a model home and you're going to be there for the next 2 months, then you can put in next Sunday, next Sunday, next Sunday, next Sunday, next Sunday, right? You don't have to worry about trying to put it in every single week when the first one expires and putting in the second one. You can add them all in at once. Now we also have the tours, right? So if you're having an agent tour, don't mix the two together because agent tour is private, open house is public. So don't mix the two. Don't do an agent open house and then put it in open house, or it's going to get broadcast to realtor.ca. You'll have all kinds of people showing up wanting free coffee and donuts. Right? Yeah. Now, what else did I want to tell you about that? Oh, okay. So when you do have an open house and you do have a tour, on your home page, you will notice that in your calendar, right, everybody's familiar with seeing your expired listings. They're going to show you through the calendar that you got a 7-day countdown for your expired listings. Everybody knows that? Yeah, you do. If you don't have it, then Bruce, you need to do this. You need to go to Preferences, System, and then go to, it's going to give you the details of your calendar. So right here, see it says listings are going to show me contact, tasks, and tours and open houses.
preferences.
Yeah.
System, calendar. So all three of those should be checked off in your profile.
They are.
Perfect. So that means whenever there's an open house or a tour, it's going to pop up on the calendar. So now you don't have to go looking for the open houses for the weekend because they're all going to pop up on your screen. Now, you're also going to know there's an open house because when you go to a property, and again, I'm going to show you this document. It's in the MLS documents up in the top right-hand corner. And we're going to go to Paragon Tips and Tricks on the right-hand side, halfway down. And that's going to open up and show us the new open house feature instructions. And so when we open up that file, this is going to show us the instructions on how to add an open house to the system. And also, I want to show you this. Right there. See that new icon? Looks like a pair of binoculars or a set of glasses. That's your new open house icon. So if you see that on your feature sheet, when you click on it, it'll pop open and tell you when that open house is going to be on that property, right? So now that's all through Paragon. So now we don't have to go up to realtor.ca and is it an open house and where are the open houses and all that sort of stuff.
What did they see on real? Let's see it.
They see open house. They see
They don't see the back.
no, they actually see a banner that says open house right on the top right corner. But you see, when we go into Client Connect, which is right now, I'm going to show you some neat features that are really going to be enhanced by this feature in the new Client Connect website, right? Any questions on that? Okay, let's go. Darn, I closed out Paragon again. Okay, anything else you want me to go over before we get to the Client Connect?
Sorry, Steve, we're saying info for those open houses, is it under resources?
Preferences.
Preference. But the rules of how to do it?
Oh, MLS documents. Once you go to MLS documents, on the right-hand side, halfway down, you're going to click on MLS Paragon Tips and Tricks, one file. And inside there is going to give you the instructions on the open house. Yep. Sure can. Correct. Yeah, that's why we had to take it out, because it didn't take it out. Yeah.
So you put it in a house.
Yep.
Once that house is just hot, it's off.
Yep.
You just go in. I work for just hot.
Yep.
So I just go.
You don't even have to do that, because once you go to the, I'll show you here. Let me just bring up one of the properties.
Right.
Yeah, because you can, you actually, it's not like a reoccurring feature. It's where you can actually add multiple, like you add open house this weekend, then you go add open house next weekend, add open house the following weekend.
Oh,
So you can add them all in.
So you're like 6 months
Yeah,
houses.
exactly. But you can't add recurring, right? Because when you're adding it specific to the date you add. If you're adding next weekend, you're going to go add next weekend, add next weekend.
But I could take, say, an hour and go through all
Yeah,
the
wouldn't even take an
houses.
hour. You can do them all in probably less than 5 minutes.
But I'm saying, like, do a series.
Yep. Because then you can also add comments. So you can say your host for this open house is going to be blah, 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 right? Put in details, put in free coffee donuts. First 10 people get a lottery ticket. All that fun stuff, right? You'd be surprised how many people show up.
Yeah, I know.
It only costs you $10.
I don't want them to show up, I want them to buy.
Yeah. And then you say, please win the lottery, and they'll buy the house from me.
Okay, and all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so we're ready to go to Client Connect. So here's what I'm going to get you to do. Everybody go up to Preferences. And once you're in Preferences, I want you to go over to the far right. In the middle, I want you to click on Client Connect Preferences Wizard. And you should have this screen pop up on your computer, right? So everybody click on Start. How many people have red text on their screen? Yeah. Oh, you do? You went to the wrong place.
Oh, sorry.
Close that off. Preferences.
Oh, fine.
You got it.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, start. You're good. Close.
So red text, I have a JPEG.
Oh, I'm just going to check your computers.
Oh, you want to see Facebook? I'm waiting. I'm good.
You're good. Close
Yeah.
yours off. Next.
I'm good too.
You're good? You weren't. Okay. So you got to go next. Create site. Next. Okay. Put in a very simple password there. 1111 or 1234, something that's easy for you to remember. Yep, next. Okay, that's fine. Go next. That's just your back office information. Doesn't matter. Next, because that's going to change. Next.
So she's moving on trail.
Next. That's okay. Next. Click off status change. Status change. And initial photo added.
She'd know me to see me.
Next.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, she's
This on
very
the
lucky.
bottom. Check that one off too.
So
Yep.
why is it-
Next. That's good. Next.
Oh, you don't-
Close. You're done.
She doesn't even have URL anymore.
Oh, that's okay.
This is all that came up.
Close.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, what's wrong? Place preferences. Far right.
Yeah.
Middle.
Hey girl, I'm up to date. Hang on.
Start. You're good. You're already set up.
Setting somebody up as well, because he's not here today, but this is mine.
Okay.
So, but is that what the username is?
For you,
Like, or is it is it our number?
no, it's actually neither. Because this only gives you access, but it doesn't have any access to your actual client.
Okay, so
Right.
let me just close out of this one. So, I'm there.
Yeah, you're fine. So you
So
can
I'm
close
good.
that off.
Okay, so okay. So this one, got to set up.
Okay. So next. Yes, create site. Next. Oh, sorry. Password.
Oh.
Simple, easy. You know, 1111 or whatever you want to put in there.
Just got a
Something simple to
standard.
remember. Okay.
Please get a standard one I have to use. This is for. All right.
Next. 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 Check off the status. Notify an initial photo. And on the bottom, a comment. Next. Close. Okay, everybody ready? Let's rock and roll. Nobody ever says, let's country and western.
What?
Let's country and western. You know, let's rock and roll.
Lose the dog and lose.
You know, when they say, let's go, let's rock and roll. Okay. So follow along with me, because what I'm going to do is take you through the process of setting up a fictitious client through the Client Connect website, and then I'm going to show you the Client Connect 2.0 that's going to be released on Monday.
Was I supposed to next through the?
Nope. Nope, because your pages are already set up.
Are all these things interconnected? I don't find I still have something.
Yeah, you need to change those. ASAP. You need to change those. Watch. Preferences. User. Under user, you will have logo, agent, image, right? That's where you're going to change your images. User preferences, logo, image, agent, image. If you get stuck, call me. There's your...
I don't even have my laptop with me.
Perfect.
Glad I came today.
Yes. Okay, we all ready to go? Okay, so what we're going to do is everybody go up to contacts on the top. We're going to go to view, manage contacts. And you're going to see all of your contacts in there. Now, have a look at my screen. Does anybody have any of these icons on their contacts? Exclamation mark with the envelope? You do have that?
Yes, I have a couple of them.
Okay, do you know what they mean?
Say unsubscribe.
That's correct. They unsubscribed or opted out of emails. Now, what you're going to have to do, and I recommend that you should call those people to be sure that they did, because what we've experienced is that Somebody will forward this on to a friend, and a kid will get behind the computer and click something, and all of a sudden they've opted out of email, and they don't even know they've done it. Once they've done that, you can't send them anything from Paragon. Gone. Right? So you got to get them opted back in. If you put in a wrong email address and set them up with Client Connect, it'll bounce back and it will unsubscribe them automatically. So be sure you're putting in the exact email address, otherwise you're going to run into trouble. Okay?
I don't see my own name on here, but I can't send myself in.
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
You can.
you can.
I wonder if it
Tells me
happened.
I opted out somehow.
Oh, hold on a second here.
Change that though.
I think that probably happened
I did
in
that
the old
before.
system. So probably going-
I set up a search for myself. I often, oh shoot.
Is that your right email address?
Yeah.
Bruce.a.smith. Verified. Okay. So what,
Well, whenever I try, like for example, I go to listing this morning, fine. I said, sorry. So I take my email address. You know what copies you want? Box.
I was just showing him. So I said,
Val? I might have to go into your profile and check it out and see why.
well,
Oh, did you? Is he? Are they? Okay. Let me have a look.
Same happens when I try to see him.
Whoops.
The email is,
Well,
is the two dots.
but it's
Well-
valid and verified in the thing though, so.
probably I just got tired of getting junk mail one time, so I take my email out.
Well. I might have to send you another verification code.
Nothing to do with CSIS or anything.
Stevis. Okay. I'll check that for you, Bruce, when we're all wrapped up here, and I'll go into your profile and we'll get that straightened away for you. Okay, so yeah, that means that they've opted out of your email. To get them back in, you have to follow a process. So if you go up to MLS Documents, and on the right-hand side, you'll see opting back into Paragon emails. And when you click on that link, that will show you the opt-in email file, which will give you the step-by-step instructions on how to get your client back into the emails. It's very simple. Just follow the instructions. If you get stuck, give me a shout, and I'll walk you through it. It's pretty easy. Okay? But if you see somebody who's opted out, I always recommend going into your contacts and seeing if somebody did opt out by accident, because if they have, you can't send them anything through Paragon. If you change their email address, you can. Okay, so, excuse me. What we're all going to do is I want you to go up to the top left-hand side where you see Add New, and I want you to click Add New. Because we're going to put in you or somebody fictitiously name and email address so that we can actually set this up and you can actually see it. Okay? So, first name, put whomever, whatever. Last name, and and you have to put in an email address, a valid email address. Okay? You can put all kinds of other details in there pertaining to your client.
Check out primary.
Yeah, you can do that. If you only put in one address, it doesn't matter. It'll default to primary. Yep. Now, everybody focus on my screen on the wall here because I want to show you something here. When you're putting it in contact, you see right here where it says new, edit, disable, edit only, new, blah, 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 right? What that means is that when you give your client access to the listings that you want them to view, they also have the ability to search the listings, search our entire database of properties. So if you say disable, that means they're not going to have the ability to search properties on Paragon. You're not going to give them that ability. Why you would do that, I don't know, but you might. Okay? If you want to look at the listings before your client does, if you want to preview them before you send them to your client, then you're going to say agent preview. And that way you get them, you look at them, you forward them. Okay? Every other one, edit only, new and edit, I would select new and edit. Because that way it gives your client the ability to search and edit the search functionality, the criteria. Okay? But remember, when you set up an agent preview that you're going to look at the listings before you send them, that means after the initial search. So when you go through with the initial search and you click send, those are gone because you've already looked at them. But any status change, update, new listing onto the system after that, it'll go to you and then you will approve and then forward on to them.
So what if you get like 40 actually? Then select one, send,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that you switch into edit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So again, I want to show you one thing here. See where it says source comments? What I recommend you do there is that whenever we meet somebody, we always have a tendency to forget what they told us, right? So you work with them for a month, they don't buy anything, they disappear, and then a year later they call you, hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 and you're like, whoa. And you're trying to remember who, what, when, where, and why. So what I recommend doing is that when you set somebody up in your profile and you send them off an introductory email, is you put in there person's name, where you met them, any other details that you have about that person that you can save and retain. So when that person makes the phone call to you a year later, and you're on Paragon, you go right into their profile and you open up that source box and say, oh yeah, I remember that open house I had at friggin' 35 Landsberg Road. How's your wife Betty? Holy moly, man, you got a good memory. Yeah, I sure do. So when can we get together and sell your property? Right?
So mobile,
Yes.
chances are that's how that happens.
Right.
How
When that
Well, let's have a look. Because I don't know if it actually is going to be there or not, but let's take a look. Whoops.
yeah, he's saying about what you said.
But also
But I mean, you have
put it
notes here, notes there, right? I'm just asking how.
So we're having that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as we know, that's what it's all about. If you can relate to somebody and make them feel comfortable, then you're on your way to the races.
regardless.
Yeah, I mean, even if they leave a message, you can research it, go and find it, call them back, right? But let me just have a look to see.
It's like I've noticed some that see. On the mobile app.
Yeah, they're working, they're diligently working on updating this, because this has been a common complaint since we got on Paragon. We told them, hey, look, you guys are like, you're way behind the times here. They're like, oh, we know. Get with.
Because it is very frustrating.
Well, you know what? It doesn't give us anything. It gives us an email address, and that's all.
Yeah, I got an email address number, and then I have to save search for it, but that's not it.
So mobile, no
Yeah.
good. No good.
Yeah, and it'll only have, well, it'll,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So everybody has a first name, last name, email address. Top left-hand corner, click Save. This will take you to the beginning of setting them up for Client Connect website. Okay? So we have a look at the screen. It's contact information. Everything's ready to roll. Top right corner, click Next. So what we have to do now is we have to add a search for this individual, right? We're just going to go and search some properties and send them off to our client. So we click Add New Save Search. That's going to open up a window which will ask us what class. We're going to click on Residential. And now we're going to go to a search window. Okay.
So they'll be saved.
Yeah, it's going to be saved to that specific individual, so you're not going to lose this information. What does that mean? Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. I got a cold.
It's a good thing.
I hear you. I'm fighting a cold here, so my brain's kind of like 3 seconds behind my head. Okay. So we're all going to put in the same information because I want you to all see the same thing when we go to view the site, okay? So we're going to search. Listing status will be active. Region. You do?
Yeah.
You shouldn't, because all active, it will include leased.
Yeah, I find it limits. I do all active, 2, 605, 603
Really?
when I search.
Well, let me see here.
So
3624, 3642. Because that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Possibly, right?
Huh. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, so I just
Yeah, I'm going to have to find that out because that shouldn't be a glitch. It should be exactly the same number. Really? Okay, I'm going to research that. So region is going to be Halifax, Dartmouth. So it's going to be all active. Halifax, Dartmouth. District is going to be Bedford. And our sub-district will be 20A. Price range is going to be 200 to let's see if we get enough. Yeah, 250. 200 to 250, all active, Halifax, Dartmouth, 20A. So everybody should have 11 listings. Everybody got 11 listings? Okay, now, let's say that we were doing a search for a client. We weren't going to send them to the client website. We were going to send them listings via email. And we found 42 properties that would be pretty close to their description, money criteria. Would you send them 42 listings by email? Mm-mm. Of course you wouldn't, because you'd be wanting to edit it, right? Holy crap, I can't do that. They can't chew through them. Now, when you're using Client Connect, I want you to remove that edit button in your head. I don't want you to edit. If you see 25, 35, 45, 55, send them, because if you edit, you're removing a property that could be potentially a sale of a property. Okay? So don't edit when you're going to send them to the website. Because when I get there and I show it to you, you're going to say, wow, this is pretty quick and pretty fast. That's pretty easy to chew through for a client, right? So we're going to click on search, top right, and you will now have two options available at the top of your screen. One is going to be save the search and the other one's going to be add to the cart, right? Everybody have that? So we're working with a client. We're going to send them these 11 listings. So we're going to first of all check off all of the listings. And we're going to click on add it to the cart. Now this I need you to really pay attention to, because if you have 35 properties that you're going to send your client, and right here it says selected 11 or all 25, but you actually have 35, it's because they're on page 2. So when you click that button right here that says select all of them, it's only going to pick the first page. You will not pick any other subsequent page after that. So if you want all this page and all your next page, you have to go next page, all, or you can go into your preferences and say show me 100 listings per page. Okay, just be aware of that.
Or could you just select all?
No, because all listings will show you one page. It won't show you more than one page. Yep.
I'm surprised I'm always stuck. I always just hit save. I don't even,
You can do that.
there,
Well, when you're saving the search, it enables you to actually go back and alter the search if you want to, right? If you're adding it to the cart, you can still do it, but you got to go through a couple other steps to get that information. But essentially, you're saving that search for that individual, but we can still get back to it,
right, that's what I like.
right? Yeah. Yeah, good point. Thanks. So we're going to say all listings, and then we're going to click save. So once we've done that, we've got that information saved to the cart. We have to go back to our client. So if you'll notice right here on my screen next to the residential search, I've got my client name right here on this tab. See that? So click on the client, and it takes us back to the previous window we left off on. And I want you to click next, and you should see a gold star on your screen. Does everybody see a gold star? Yep, but we're not there yet. So as long as you see a gold star and below that you see a number of listings that are agent recommended, you're in the right place. Okay? So down on the bottom here on the left, you'll see notification options. Off, which it is off right now. No notification, email notification, but you're going to select the bottom one, client connect with auto notify, because that's what we're doing, is we're sending them to them through the website. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that if I've got 10 clients and I've gone through and done 10 individual searches with 10 hundreds of different properties for each client, when I send them to that website to view the properties, they are only going to see the properties that I've searched for them specifically. Each client is going to get their own page, personalized for them with the properties I've picked. They're not going to get all the same website and filter all through it. So as you go through the system, you go through it, and you go through it, you've got different clients. Each client gets a different page with the criteria and the properties that you've designated for them. Okay? So as we scroll down the page, now on the right-hand side, you'll see their new Paragon Client Connect 2 coming soon, blah, 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 blah. Don't worry about it, because I'm showing you that right now. So agent recommended is 11, favorites, possible reject are all 0. Site notification or site configuration is set to on. And the next line, I want you to click on notification settings. So notification date range is always defaulted for 1 year. Don't forget that, because if you get your client online, they're getting properties, you sell them a property, they're still going to get the property listings until you delete it, because they're getting them for a year. So you can shorten that down to 3 months, 4 months, whatever you want to do. Just remember that. So the notification, pardon me? Yeah, but you don't want them to opt out. No, because I'm going to show you actually how to go back and delete this search once we've accomplish the goal of getting them on property. So what you're going to do next is notification trigger. You've got price change, new match, and new comment. So I want you to click on the magnifying glass, and I want you to add the status change. Put a check mark in status change and click save, because now you should have the 4 options in that notification trigger.
How did you get to this page? Since it's on
Did you click on notification settings?
the notification option.
Did you click the last one, Client Connect with Auto Notify? And scroll down your page?
Okay, yeah.
You see notification settings?
There it is. Okay.
Got
I
it?
hit the wrong button. Yeah.
It's okay. Now, client scheduling. So anytime the listings come available on the system, whether it's a new listing, a change in date, et cetera, it's going to go to the client automatically as soon as it comes live to the system. Now, let's say that you have a client who's traveling through the week and they tell you, don't send me anything through the week because I don't have time to look at it. I don't want to filter through your emails. Send it to me Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. That's when I'm going to search through them. You go, sure, no problem. Click on recurring, click on the set time frame, click on weekly, click on Saturday, click on 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. or whatever, right? Save it. Guess what? They're only going to get emails Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whenever you want them to get them, right? But it's always good to query your client to find out what they would prefer. Don't automatically assume they want to get them anytime or whenever they're available. Because again, it just gets lost in the filter of all the other emails and they delete it anyway, right? So the other one is down on the very bottom, agent notifications. So this is for you. You're going to make sure that you just leave it at immediately because you're going to get it whenever you want it or whenever it's available on the system, especially when it's agent preview, right? You're going to look at it and then you're going to approve it, send it off to your client. So at the top right, we're going to click OK. Okay. Client Connect preferences. This is just the back office making sure that all of your information is correct. Displaying your email address, blah, 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 blah. And here's a feature here, display my story video, right? So if you wanted to, you could actually upload a video of yourself if you like to, if you feel comfortable in camera, right? It's always helpful because if you're sending it to people who don't really know you, they always feel better if they can actually see you talking before you meet them and see them talking, right? Just makes them more comfortable with who you are so when they meet you. So if you're comfortable with doing that, I really recommend, you know, sitting behind your desk and have someone videotape you. Hi there, I'm such and such, I work for such and blah, 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 and look forward to working with you, right? Nothing else we have to change in there. So we'll close that. So when we get down to the bottom, we see the setup complete. Click here to send your link. So don't click on it yet. You click on send link, it opens up a box. You can actually add information in here when it comes up. Hi there, such and such. Here's information that I've sent you. Please access the website. Any questions, queries, let me know. Send, and it's gone. So under that, we've got view the website. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the left-hand side and view the website just to be sure the information you're sending is correct, right? So you're going to get this website. It has 4 tabs on the top. We can scroll through our listings. We can view them on the map. We can pick whether it's a favorite, a possible, a reject. We can view details of the property, right? So when I told you that you shouldn't worry about whether or not you're sending 35, 45 listings, you'll see very quickly that they can go through this pretty fast. And they can actually go back into the website and revisit it whenever they want. So don't edit your content. Yeah, because you didn't choose new and edit. You probably chose disabled.
Fixed in deeper until the source agent edit search.
Right here.
That's what Bruce's search.
Oh, I've got source.
So search or edit search.
But I don't have the 2 buttons beside it.
Which one?
Oh, you don't have that?
I don't have those, the edit.
Okay, and that's because you chose, you're likely, if we go back and look at that, you probably chose disabled, because otherwise it would be there. I'll show you. We'll do that in a minute. But let me just finish this. So, I don't want to show you this because you know what? This is only going to be active for another 3 days. Monday morning, you're going to have a brand new website. Okay? Dun, 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 dun. Drum roll. Hey, want to join the band? Okay, preview the site. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. So we go to Client Connect. There's a little button there on the bottom that says View the new site, sneak peek. So when you click on it, watch this. Voila, look, no tabs at the top. It just gets in the way. We have to make this very easy. So the first thing we look at is save listings. We've got 11, none have been decided. Updates, nothing happening, right? So anytime I have an update in the system and it sends it to me, it will show me the updates and what category they will be in. And by simply clicking on this box will take me directly to those listings. I can click right here, About Me, which will give me the description about who I am, my introductory video and all that stuff if I want to. I can put a link to my site here if I want to. Here's my client's name in the top right where they can log out because they're going to actually log in through that email when you send it to them. It says create a simple password to access the website your agent has sent you. If they forgot it, no problem. They just click forgot email or forgot password and it will email it to them, okay? Now, we go down our list. Once they load up here, it's showing them to me in a nice horizontal view. And see right here where it says new match? So when you have other properties that are there like status change, price change, that'll be flagged accordingly whenever that gets updated. Then on the right-hand side here, I've got tile view. So if I want to view them in tiles, which makes them easier to scroll through, I can do that. I can click on my map view. So if I want to check out where they are on the map, right? I can have a look at here, see my prices. And this is all live, right? So here's some more over here. I go back to my navigation. I go back to Client Connect. Now, here's a new feature. And if you haven't used the previous one, it doesn't make any difference because this is just more added benefit for your client. This is all built for your client. Come on. I know there's a couple of glitches here that they're working out before they actually make it go live here on Monday. Okay. And we're on Wi-Fi, so it's a little slower. So I go here to my tile. Oh, I clicked on it. Close. Tile. There. Okay, see? So I got a tile view. I can do it in the other view as well. But right here, see the house? Compare the listings. So when I click on it, it says compare listings simply by clicking one listing item below where the above the text or where there's text, below the text, and then select the second. So I say okay. I still have this highlighted, so I click my first listing. Whoops, below the text, Steve. Got to remember the instructions. Oops, see what happens is I opened it up. Let me go back. Okay, I'll do it this way. Click, okay, below the text, click. Just takes a second here. Yeah, because when you click on it, it's actually going to highlight it in light gray. And then what you do is you go to your other property and you click in the same place. It'll pick the second property and then it'll open up to a separate window and compare them side by side, line by line. Okay? So remember that other feature I showed there, favorite, reject, and maybes? It's right here, favorite, reject, maybe, or I can actually put it into my own folder. So if I want to click on that, I create a folder name and I can dump it into a folder of my naming to be able to categorize it so I can search it later. View detail, so it's going to show me the listing cut of the property, but here's something cool. If I click on that link, I can add a comment, I can request a showing right here, which gives me the date, right? I want to go in there on Saturday at 1 p.m. Comments here, call me when it's set up. Submit. Gone. Right? We can also go down here and I can actually share this on Facebook if I want to, like you can on realtor.ca.
So you can share and then it'll share it for,
Your Facebook page.
yes, but then the link will share it.
No. It'll link to their personal Facebook page.
No, but I mean, when they share that listing,
Right?
one tribe,
Mm-hmm.
they share that on their Facebook, that listing share.
Correct.
And then you saw the post, ooh, what's that? Click it. Where did they go?
Good question. I don't know.
We'll know on Monday.
And you know why?
Yeah, but that's a good question.
It is, but you know why? Because it hasn't been activated yet.
Yeah.
I can't test it until Monday.
When they request viewing, where does that mean?
Directly to your email address.
Because, yeah, that's us.
Directly to email.
Because I don't even check.
No, you don't have to.
Call me and say,
Yeah, because this is what the great feature is. If they're searching 1 o'clock in the morning, they click the button, they put in a timeline, and you make the call and get things rolling for them, right? Now, here is the grandiose part of this program. So I click up here and I click property search. And that's going to open up to a map. And along the top, here it's all my criteria that I can change, right? But watch this. I switch over to Bedford and I scroll in a little bit and I just wait a couple of moments here and watch what happens. Come on. Hurry up. Either this is slow or I'm a liar. And I know. Yeah. Are you on stage this weekend anywhere? So what that's going to do is that it's actually going to show you all the live listings in that area. So I can pick and choose any listing that I want and view it and look at it, save it, reject it, right? Now, see this function right here? See my little pencil? Let's say that I don't want all of these listings. I don't want all that stuff. So I click on my pencil and I just simply draw an outline around what I'm looking for.
This is the client.
Correct. It's all client, 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 client. Oh, look what's coming up. Right? So remember you've got your filters at the top here. So I'm going to have to maybe increase my filter or bring it down a little bit. Or I might have to change my bedrooms, my bathrooms, my property type, right? So depending on my filters and what I'm adding or removing from my criteria, that's what I'm actually going to be searching and finding through my live feed through Paragon. So again, like I told you, when you have a client who's a new client and you don't have that connection or that I love you kind of embrace yet, you're going to tell them this information is where the information originates. Every other website in this province originates from this database. You are getting the keys to my kingdom. And when you find a place, I'll sell you the keys to that kingdom. Okay?
And I thank you for opening my kingdom up. I have to go.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay? So you can see this option is going to keep your new client, if they haven't gotten that cozy with you yet, keep them from going to other websites and surfing around looking for properties that they don't think you're going to be able to find for them.
all we have to do now is add all the other stuff that's going there.
We're getting there, Bruce. We're getting real close. We're getting real close. And there's other things coming down the road that I can't talk about right yet because, or at the moment, because they haven't been approved and they're still on the table. So
Is there any privacy issues with some of the stuff?
that's a good question. I'm sure if you looked hard enough, you probably could find some issues. Yeah. But you see now there's a battle going on in Ontario, right? With, there's another company that's trying to do the same thing that Viewpoint did. And, are they? Well, this was some other separate entity, Korea. There was a battle between Korea and the Toronto Real Estate Board, and one side wanted to shut them down, the other side said, what's wrong with it? And now there's a friggin' lawsuit and all that BS that's going on. Yep. You're going home now? You get off at 4? You're lucky. Are we in the general questions? Give me one more second. Communication. See this button here? When they click on that communication button, that will pertain to any information that goes back and forth from this website to you and your client. So this allows your client to actually organize the information without losing it. If they comment on a property or give a listing or anything like this sort of thing or want a showing, that information will be retained. So anytime you want to go back and review or what have you, they have the ability to review notes. A what? Yeah, all you have to do is go to the help website. I'll show you. If you go to Paragon and you go to help, any topic that you want is in help, right? So once help opens up, all of my information is in there. So all I have to do is this. So instead of typing Client Connect 2, on this site it's referred to as CC2, Client Connect 2, search. Okay? So when you do that, it's going to bring up all of the training for Client Connect 2. Here's the other great thing about Client Connect 2. It is 100% compatible with iPads and smartphones. So they can go through their smartphone and they can navigate and do exactly what I showed you. They can even draw with their finger on their smartphone and outline neighborhoods, what have you, and search properties that way. So it's built for the smartphone because we know that's where people are surfing and spending time through the day. They're not on a big computer or a big iPad, right?
So eventually Viewpoint will become like
So where do I go to disable again?
Oh, okay. So good question. So you've already done a search. Let me focus on my screen here for 1 second. See on my home screen here, it's got contact activity. And right now it's 0. But if my client was in there clicking on the properties, I'd actually see the activity here. It would tell me what they were doing. And when I clicked on their name, it would take me to their profile. And I could actually, wait till this closes. It would actually show me what my client's doing. So I can keep an eye on what they're actually doing on their website, what they're searching, what they're saving. I can see all that stuff without them even calling me or emailing me. So search is done. You're all finished. You just go right to the everything. Every time you have someone with a search, it'll give you a plus sign. You just click the plus sign, and then in that box, agent recommended, you just click delete. Delete. And it's gone. Just see, the other thing is that I shouldn't have deleted that so quick. But when you go into your client profile, there's an actual site button there so that you can click on site and it'll open up the website so you can actually see what they're doing. You don't click anything in there. You're opening it to see what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the goal, is that you want to make a close connection without your client knowing it. I mean, you can let them know. But I mean, they click on a favorite, right? You can call ahead and say, look, can we get into this property tomorrow? Yep, no problem. So you call up your client. I see you saw that property that you kind of liked it. You want to go in to see it? Yeah, sure. Well, we can get in tonight at 7. Perfect. Let's do it. Right? So stay one step ahead of your client.
So,
Yeah. I just did it. When you have the client name, there's going to be a plus sign right here. You click on the plus sign, it opens up and it shows you agent recommended. You put a check mark in the box, and then you go up to the top and you click delete. And it's gone. But you see, that's the best way to use the program, is that let's say that you have somebody who's not really computer savvy and they don't really want you to set them up or get emails. They want paper, right? So what you do is you go in and you set up the fictitious person with your email address, and you get all the listings coming to you so you can forget about it and not have to do a search every single day. You just let the computer and the software do the work for you, right? Yeah, we're finished.
But I made a list this time I saw you.
Okay.
I tried to find a webinar on this too. When I do a search, I've got the properties and I got us. How to go into faults. Switch. For instance, search that I want one search. Can't seem to figure out how to customize and save different defaults. Search. I want to be able to customize and save. Like default search 1, default search 2, default search. So I'll give you an example. For one of my searches that I did all new construction. So what I like to put in is the seller name so I can see what builder is. But I can't see that to save as a default search.
Yeah, you're not going to save it as a default. You're just going to save it as a search. So you're going to go like this. If we go to, let me just go here to my, why can't I get up here? Come on. It's stuck.
Oh no.
Ah! Oh, there we go. So I'm going to go, let's pretend I'm doing a search here, right? Actually, let me go this way. It's probably better if I do it this way. Search, residential. And you say, I'm going to search new construction. I'm going to put in my fields, my particulars, and all that stuff to be able to find, right? So I go up to save search as, and I'm going to give it a name. So I'll call it new construction. And I'm going to save it with the criteria values. And then I'm going to say, you don't have to select anything else. Just save this residential search and click save. Right? So all you're doing is you're setting up your parameters, your criteria. Once you have it, save as, new construction, with criteria, save. And do that for every single search that you do.
Because when I do this, for instance, so let's just say you've been Bedford, so you've been active area 2,103, and then you go to search, then it comes up as a list. But I do this sometimes. That's when I go into customize. I customize in my fields, and I bring in seller's name. So rather than do that every time, I was trying to figure out how to not.
Yeah, but once you do it, what you're going to have to do is that you're going to go to load search, load save search, and that's going to have all the searches that you've saved within your system to be able to pick and choose those filters that you've already saved previously.
My other question was on here where you guys had the search tab up, and it's not on this one. How do I get that search tab there?
Yeah, so when you're actually going into the client,
So something I had done.
so go back to Paragon, general, contact info, agent preview. Take that out and put new and edit. So once you do that, you say continue. You have to go through your process and update it.
So so that's the only way they're able to search.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes away the control of us just sending them what we want to send them then.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure that actually how that worked. But I
now we
think
know.
with the new website, with the new Web 2.0, that I believe that function does actually work, and that the only way to disable it is by going to the disable function within
So
there.
I'll have to check that on Monday
Yeah.
and see.
Test it on Monday, and if you don't, if it does disable it, then send me an email and I'll get that checked on that for you to see if we can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Great.
Any other questions?
That's fine.
You can ask me.
That's fine.
You're allowed to.
Brush up
Question
Monday,
I
we'll be
have is
calling.
how do I get unlocked out?
Yeah, we're going to check that right now.
No, we're not. My computer left.
I can do it on my computer.
Okay.
Except we got to turn this off because I don't want to see people seeing your profile. Okay, this ends the webinar, so I can click off these people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thanks a lot, Ed.
You're very welcome. Anytime.
All right. What was your phone number?